Hey there, teachers, students, School of Tomorrow, friends, Romans. I think it's okay to address Romans. I don't think they ever truly died out. I mean, there's the city of Rome even now, where I grew up, part of my life. A little bit of autobio. Princeton University, it says over here, graduated in 1980. I'm 62 years old and I live in Portland, Oregon. And what you see here is one of my, you could say, home pages. It's really just a profile at the website Quora, which is really more or less about answering questions. And I make a habit of coming here and answering questions about Python, the computer language. And what this video is about is the intersection of that world, the Python world, with what I'm going to call an offbeat geometry, the one that we always talk about on this channel. And in fact, blending Python and synergetics is kind of what you might call part of the diet around here. It's kind of our mashed potatoes and gravy, if you will. Not saying you have to like that food, just saying. This is a beautiful website, I think, PyCon US 2021. It's going to be virtual, and I'm registered, and I don't know if they're going to want to do my proposal. For one thing, it is based on an obscure, offbeat geometry. But I want to show you just state of the art, right? First of all, the graphics are really cool. You can change to a light theme if you want, as opposed to dark, but I like dark. Now here's what's cool. You've got a markdown window where you type, okay, close to just ordinary text. And if you know Jupyter Notebooks, it's the same thing. It's really similar to the idea of a wiki language, right? Let's go to the Synergetics page, log in, and go into edit mode, but I'm not going to edit anything. I'm just going to go into edit mode so you can see a lot of you know about Wikipedia and what it's like, okay? It's got its own way of making footnotes and links, and it's not really HTML. You see, as I scroll down through here, for example, Arthur Loeb has double brackets, and that means it's going to link to a Wikipedia page on Arthur Loeb, who's a crystallographer at MIT, Harvard at one time, right? He was a teacher of Amy Edmondson at one time, and I interviewed him in his office somewhere up there in Cambridge when I hitchhiked up there. I would hitchhike from Princeton up to Cambridge, in the Boston area, MIT, Harvard, whatever. I would sit in the student center at MIT and eat donuts. It was definitely an adventure. So you can see how we're doing links, mostly links, references, block quote, blah, blah, blah. And what you get out of it is basically a Wikipedia page. Now we're doing a similar thing. We're not using HTML as a markup language. By the way, while we're on the topic of Python, the idea of an underworld, how do you think that links to the concept of Python? And the hints I'll give you, and we'll get back to this, is in these pictures. What do you see here? You'll see a python, let's say, and this goddess is Athena. And a motto, just use it, okay, things like that. So we'll come back and talk more about how Python relates to an underworld, but also on the theme of an underworld. Check out this picture. This is a roadway descending. I guess it's not like for buses. The scale, if I look at it correctly, is more like for walkers. So you can walk up or down into deeper, deeper, deeper. The idea of an underworld here. It's called the Road to Hell in the Carlsbad Caverns National Park, New Mexico. Now, I've not been there myself. So back to the conference and what I'm doing. I'm using a similar to Wikipedia language or markup, Wikipedia markup, called Markdown. And it's what we also use with Wikipedia. Jupyter Notebooks. Jupyter Notebooks. This, by the way, the whole thing is a Django web application with the wagtail extension or plugin, or I got caught up in Wagtail a little bit. I'm not really a web developer, so I was a little bit disappointed in people who thought I was going to jump in on Wagtail big time, because those are specific skills which, it would pay to cultivate, but I'm going in another direction with my still somewhat offbeat approach to geometry. Now, I think that's good marketing, because people are going to stop and think, wait a minute, what do you mean offbeat geometry? Like, what is any geometry I don't already know about? Don't I pretty much know, about what's geometry out there? So you might get some curiosity going here. And then I play off that. I say Martian Math, somewhat alien. And where does that take me? That takes me to another wiki. Okay, so Wikipedia and this here Wiki Educator, they both sit on top of the public engine, the wiki engine, that's put out by WikiMedia. Let me scroll down to the bottom. Does it say somewhere here? MediaWiki, powered by MediaWiki. I haven't rehearsed this part at all, so I'm gonna see where that takes me when I click on it. To like the mother of all wikis, right? MediaWiki, WikiMedia. And so, this is a big piece of source code that's available to you if you want to set up sort of a Wikipedia of your own. Like, I think I might have shown you Citizendium. So let's just say really briefly what this crisscross of obsolete, not obsolete, sorry, could take it as obsolete, I suppose, but it hasn't had a chance to become obsolete. It's still too new to be obsolete, I think. And it's a geometry based around, so tell me if you've seen any of this. Of course, if you're on this channel a lot, this is not any big mystery. But these are the polyhedra that you would be focusing on were you to be studying this geometry. And the idea with the Python is we can explore, various aspects of geometry using the Python computer language. Now, one weird thing that I like to do is concoct and play with a sort of, I don't know, you wouldn't have to call it satirical, but because in math we don't do satire, right? Math does not satirize math, although you could say that Edwin Abbott's Flatland is kind of parody, but it's political parody that was then taken in and taken quite seriously by a lot of mathematicians as well. So we have a different way of doing a coordinate system here that's kind of fun. And that would be one application of Python. Generating those pictures is part of it too. You can do that with the ray tracer. You can do that with Blender. And then you have actual hands-on toys. Of course, this is just a picture of Zome construction kit. So say you're in a school, you or at a home school, you get to either one, use, share, have access to various hands-on toys, and then there will be things on screen to do as well. It's not either or, right? And on screen, sometimes you're just going to be doing like computations, like not talking about even visualizations, kind of more like left brain, you could say. Like here, I'm using a random, pseudo-random number generator to give my matrix of, 5 by 5 matrix of random numbers between 0 and 10. I asked for that, and boom, I'm given that. And then I start playing around with that. This is all another aspect of computing with Python. So we mix them together, see, in such as REPL IT, where what you see are Pythonic computations. So you can see the language Python just written out here. And I can hit the run button and it will run this code. But to really know what this is about, you need to imagine certain shapes. but it's not really tough to do. I mean, these are just, mostly like tetrahedral wedgy shapes, like wedges, right? Pie slices, sort of. So it's like it's not really hard to jump into this world. It's just corresponding to this lexical side of things. You also need to have a graphical side of things, right? So the mix of the two is, I think, a healthy one. And what we're going to do is now talk about Greek mythology a little bit more and wind it up. The thing about the python is it lived in mythology in one of the stories under Mount Parnassus, which is part of the Delphi complex. And there are many ways to tell the story of Delphi. And one way I tell it is it was at one point pretty much run by Athena and her cohort. And then, sort of out of desire to sort of, I don't know, you could call it a patriarchal urge, Apollo took over operations. And part of his doing that was to banish the python from under Mount Parnassus and actually to chase it down. And in the popular story, actually slay the python. But in our version, the python gets away and basically reestablishes Delphi in another faraway place. And that has to do with music, where that faraway place is. Again, I'm kind of leading you to kind of into a Trivial Pursuits here. But the Underworld connection is what I wanted to get at, and that the python is down under Mount Parnassus and somehow is responsible for the oracular powers, the ability to see the future of the Athena's faculty, the ones higher up in the mountain still, in a cave, we're told, but above the snake, so that there's fumes of some kind that come up from the bottom of the mountain until Apollo comes in and gets rid of all that. So, to finally finish up, this HTML preview, by the way, is what's corresponding to, so this ugly markup stuff that I do is going to turn itself into pretty formatting with hyperlinks and my evolving talk proposal, which again, because it goes to an offbeat geometry, may not seem realistic. It's like a kind of a chicken egg thing. I just want to see I want people who are watching this channel to see what kind of curriculum would be coming into the foreground were this material to gain more traction, right? And we look at polyhedrons, like polyhedron volumes in tables, so that means we have to use the data frame from the pandas package, for example. And see, building a pandas data frame, and there's our tetrahedron, octahedron, and so forth with the volumes. How do you put a label in the column? So it's kind of like spreadsheet skills, but they're interactive. We're in a Jupyter notebook, and we're building a spreadsheet-like thing called a data frame, and using the concepts we've gained from studying polyhedra to populate that table. And in particular, we're focused on relative volumes. Okay, now we're getting into more of the pandas data frame lingo, right? Again, you look at this stuff with your left brain, you see computations, you see Python, but do you also have your imagination turned on? Are you also able at the same time to be thinking about sort of pictures and graphics, things rotating in space and so forth? For example, A and B modules, we're referring to those a lot in these various computations, but can you see them in your mind's eye is the question. And if you can, and you can read Python at the same time, then I think you've started to cultivate that kind of literacy that will well equip you for professional work, if that's or professional play, whatever you're into. Here's to end the O'Reilly learning site where you can access trainings and books. And I come here a lot to try to brush up on various skills, but they're infinite skills. So it helps to have kind of a plan of where do you want to go? What is it you want to learn, right? It's not a matter of tackling all of the material in here, okay? So good luck, folks. Good luck on staying safe and staying sane. And we'll talk to you again in the next episode.